The BlokeBusters podcast is proud to be a member of the Pod Bros Network. You can find us, as well as other fine shows such as The Guy Huddle, Language of Bromance, and Dave's Nerd Compendium at podbros.com, and on Twitter at PodBrosNetwork. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the BlokeBusters podcast. Welcome to episode 49 of the BlokeBusters podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Brian.
And today we're going to be talking about Mad Max Fury Road. A couple of things just to get out of the way, first of all. Do check us out on Twitter at BlokeBusters, Facebook, just search BlokeBusters. You can email us any thoughts, comments, criticisms, or praise. I know we're probably not going to get much of that, but whatever.
Hey, we'll take it all.
Yeah, we'll take anything. And that's blokebusterpodcast@gmail.com. And we also have a website, which I try and keep updated as much as I can. I'm not very good at it, but hey. Yeah. What do you want from us? We're busy people. And that is blokebusters.webs.com. Alright, so with that all out of the way, how about we jump straight into the little details. This is Mad Max Fury Road, directed by Mr. George Miller, who I believe has directed just a few Mad Maxes before this one.
Yes, his first time out.
Although it has been, 30 years since the last one?
Yeah. Wait, was it 87, I think?
Almost 30 years. Yeah. That's been a while. The budget for this was $150 million, and the box office as of, I believe, yesterday, being the 22nd of May, was $135,185,000, and that is worldwide. The strangest part about this, I found, is that 41% of that is American box office, and 49% obviously being the rest of the world. And you don't normally see that.
No, but I think that's also a wonderful commentary on the film itself.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
So
quite excited. Let's get.
Yes. Brian,
I've been waiting on this all week. Yeah.
All right. So I've only written down 4 main cast members because, to be honest, those are the only 4 you really need to know.
Yeah.
You have Tom Hardy as Mad Max Rockatansky, am I saying that correctly?
Sure.
Alright. I would just like to say, first and foremost, I have not seen any of the original Mad Maxes, whereas Brian, I believe, has seen...
I have, yes. I revisited them a few weeks ago, and prior to that, it'd been probably 20 years or so since I'd seen them.
Right.
So
fair enough.
Just a quick refresher for me.
Alright. And second, I have... And I have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce his name. Charlize Theron?
You got it, yeah, Charlize.
As Imperator Furiosa.
Furiosa, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just Furiosa from now on.
Yeah.
Mr. Nicholas Hoult as Nux, which I don't... Did they just say his name once at the beginning of the film and that's it?
It's somewhere in there, yeah. I think only one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then...
blink and you miss it, that one. And then Hugh Keays-Byrne? Or Byrne? Keas-Byrne. Keays-Byrne?
Sure.
I think. As Immortan Joe. And I wanted to ask you this, actually, first off. I know that he played... The same guy played a bad guy in the original Mad Max. I don't know if he played the main villain, but he played a bad guy.
Yeah.
Did his character die in the original Mad Max?
Oh, don't ask me to recall that.
Because I was just wondering if maybe, since this guy is, in this film, quite old, maybe it was that guy, and he's now built this thing.
I really don't care to even talk about the originals, because they are mostly dead to me now. So.
Okay. Well, that could either be very good for this film or just very bad for your nostalgia then, I think.
Yeah.
So how about we jump right into it then? Would you like to go first then, Brad?
Sure. Well, do we even need to talk about what the movie is supposedly about, or do we need a plot? Because I didn't.
All right. Let me see if I can sum it up in a sentence or two. Guy in the desert, mass destruction.
Escape oppression, get back home while crazy people chase you.
That's what I said, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
Alright, yeah.
And yes, that is starting off like, I just want to start off by saying, obviously, spoilers ensue.
Yeah.
We feel like a week is long enough to have seen this film. If you haven't, what the hell are you waiting on? Pause, go see it, and resume play when you get back home.
Unless you don't mind spoilers. I do know some people don't mind having the spoilers for film.
I don't know those people.
Well, I will say, I think that you could have this film spoiled for you and still enjoy it. I don't think that someone telling you...
I don't think I would enjoy it as much, though, but that's just me. I'm just crazy strict on my spoilers.
I'm fully in your camp. It's just that I do think that someone describing what happens in this film versus sitting down and watching this film are two very different things.
See, I regret even having seen the trailer. Yes, that's what got me excited, but I was prepared for a few trailer moments. But, so where I was going with that, obviously spoilers ensue, but... If you want to enjoy this film, if you think you may not, I would say go into this, be willing to completely suspend your disbelief. Don't overanalyze, because then you're not going to enjoy, I don't think.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the ride, so to speak. And, there are some... They have to fudge some things like, that would never happen. And just get over it and enjoy the damn pictures and sound that are hitting your face.
Yeah.
So that's all. I just wanted to get that disclaimer out there. But I loved the opening scene. I think it was set up beautifully. You have like 40 seconds of like exposition, which was like all you need.
Yeah.
Hey, I used to be a cop. My family's dead. I screwed up not saving a couple people, and let's go. And I loved it. It was awesome.
I found it interesting as well because obviously he's talking, and then I think you see it in the trailer as well. The second he stamps that lizard, the talking stops from him. Like, he doesn't talk anymore until later in the film. So I found it kind of interesting. It was like, so it's almost as if it was the lizard that was talking. And he's like, just shut up.
Ooh, yes, that's wonderful.
Some sort of mutated lizard that were trying to give a life story.
Well, it was two-headed, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. But, yes, that opening scene, I thought, set up the action so amazingly. And it was shot in such a way, it was like... beautiful and like clunky yet at the same time. They were both screwing up, Max and his pursuers, or running into things. Like, it wasn't just completely like you've seen in any other action movies, chase sequences like that, where you could feel like there was improvisation. Although it was obviously very well scripted. It felt like, you felt his immediacy to escape. And like, my heart was in my chest, like, from... the beginning of this film. I don't know how you felt with that scene.
I did enjoy seeing, like, obviously I knew nothing about Mad Max as a character, and I do need to ask you this as well, because I was wondering, do you get the backstory that he kind of gave and you see glimpses of in this film? Is that explored at all in the previous?
That's pretty much the first film.
That is the first film.
Pretty much. What he says in the first, 40 seconds is the first film.
Okay, alright. I was wondering if they were just kind of like, let's just quickly get through this. And
the original Mad Max, is a very subdued story, and it doesn't really pick up until the third act of that film.
Okay, so it does a lot of storytelling,
until his wife and child are run down by this gang.
Okay,
and then he really turns into Mad Max. Then before that, he's just Max.
Okay,
he's not that mad. Yeah. He's sunny disposition Max. Maybe not quite so much, but you get the idea. Yeah, so that was essentially just the first film. Was like that voiceover.
Okay, good. I'm glad I know that now, because I do feel
Road Warriors, where we really run into some parallels. The second one, so
yeah. That's good then, because I felt that you didn't need to know all of that. You didn't need to have been told everything, and just getting all these glimpses, like the very brief description at the beginning as he's giving his basic backstory, and then the flashback. And you saw that there were going to be flashbacks, because obviously when he's escaping and he's trying to get out of the grate, and then he just sees the girl.
Yeah, I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, really well done. And I think my favourite opening to an action film I've ever seen. Yeah, just because, as you say, it was like 40 seconds of backstory, and then action. Isn't that what you want in an action film?
Yes. I don't need 40 minutes of Avengers getting together.
What was that? I didn't quite hear that.
Something about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, get right into it. I haven't thought of it, but you might be right. It's either that or Pacific Rim has that like 16-minute opener before you see those opening credits. Yeah. Before you see the title.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think that Pacific Rim opened brilliantly for Pacific Rim because that world didn't exist before then. Whereas Mad Max
it took a lot of setup, yeah.
So I think it took for granted that half the people going to see this film would have seen the original Mad Max, and half the people going to see this film want to see an action film. So,
just get right into it. And I was almost happy. We'll get to I want to talk about this scene in a moment, but I was almost happy when the action died down a little bit because I was worried about my health. I didn't know. Thought I was going to have a heart attack in my fucking seat. I'm like, they cannot keep this up for 2.5 hours. I will die. So I was a little happy when it kind of quieted down for a moment or two.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, Tom Hardy the best actor in a mask? My answer is yes.
Well, I can't think of too many others that are always wearing masks in there.
Well, I mean, to say he uses an economy of words in this film is putting it lightly.
I think he's only got about 20 lines in the film.
Maybe, but I mean, it's a testament to how great of an actor I think he is, because he's able to emote so much by saying so little. It really shows you that good acting is in your face, it's in your body language.
Yeah, his presence on the screen is he's always seemed to be the one in charge, even when he isn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, going back to Dark Knight Rises, or when Frenchie, when her mature, what's her name, and that moment where you realize, he's doing this for her, and he's wearing that damn Bane mask, and you see the emotion in his eyes.
Yeah,
like I don't know who else can do that, and I felt that way in this film. Like, he wears that mask for like 45% of the movie.
Yeah.
And gets it off with like a nail file or screwdriver. So I don't know how. Movie magic.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that I wasn't 100% sure what it was they gave him for that. I imagine it was a file of some sort.
And then I heard other people say they thought it was like a screwdriver, but I don't know. You don't really...
No, it sounded like it was filing.
Filing, yeah. But...
And I'm not 100% sure what it was filing up. Like, he'd had to somehow get it into the lock, but not against his head. Like, well, I'm kind of glad they didn't show it to us.
Like I said, suspend your disbelief.
Yeah.
Just enjoy. Yeah, where did you want to go?
Alright, well...
Because I can go anywhere with this.
Alright, well, how about... There was one thing about this film that I thought was kind of odd. I don't know if you'll have picked up on it.
Boo. Oh.
Yeah, I know. And seriously, this was like my one real kind of took me out when I noticed it. I think the third time it happened. There are multiple slow fade to black and then fade back in during the film, and they're fairly evenly spaced out. And as I was watching, as the third time it happened, I was like, did they put this in so they can show it on television? Like, it almost seemed like they were just inserting a break, maybe just for the
I know
audience.
what you mean, and that didn't bother me in the slightest. But,
well, I didn't know if it bothered. I just wondered if you noticed it because as I was watching it, I was like, "That's an odd choice in an action film. You don't see that very often." But like you were saying, you enjoyed it when the action died down because it gave your heart a bit of a rest. Yeah. Maybe that's kind of what they were doing. They were kind of giving the audience a chance to breathe there. I hadn't thought of that.
Thankfully, yes. Because I think it's medically irresponsible if you didn't slow this film down.
Yeah, a whole bunch of fast action scenes.
Dear Lord, yes. Can we talk about that opening chase scene?
Yeah.
When they go through, I don't know what you want to call it, the dust wall or storm wall, whatever.
Yeah, it's basically Dust Tornado Valley.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is some of the most beautiful moments of film I've ever seen. It looked incredible. Like, who cares why the way? I mean, obviously, okay, we screwed up the planet somehow.
Yeah,
it appears somehow. That old story.
It appears to have been some sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland.
But the impression I got from it, like, that's what I loved. Is like they didn't have to explain the world is what it is. Things are this way because of this, and they're this way because of this. They just present the world, and you have to figure it out. I love that.
I had something that I wrote down when I was thinking about that. Max is the audience in this film. You only know what he learns in this film. So obviously he gives you that 40-second backstory and flashbacks, and that's it. Everything else you learn about the world, you learn about because Max is learning about it.
See, I was going to get to that later too. This is Charlize's movie, and Max is the audience. And but yeah, what I was going to say is like, so that weather in there, I just kind of assumed, okay, that's because we screwed up the planet. The weather's just insane in pockets on the Earth, and you have tornadoes that pick up cars and throw them, and lightning. But oh my God, that sequence was incredible.
Yeah,
that was what I was talking about when I thought, oh my God, this is not going to end for 2 hours, and I'm gonna need some sort of medical attention. But yeah, luckily and sadly, that scene came to an end. I was a little sad, but I'm like, okay, good, I can breathe. But oh my God, what a way to set up what this movie is going to be.
Yeah, and obviously you have the standard formula of peaks and valleys with the action film, as in like mathematics. But this is one of the highest peaks that you can get. It's like just a mass amount of action and grittiness, and like there's loads of stuff happening, and you might not even see all of it the first time. And then when it comes to, I guess, the valley, the slow point, you're actually enjoying the characters. So there's no actual slow moments in this film.
And I mean, a disservice would be to call this movie just one big long car chase, which is, I feel like, how the people that won't like it will view it,
I suppose.
But the action to me is always interesting, and that's not easy to do. I mean, I've seen plenty of films where this is supposed to be an action sequence and I'm bored out of my mind.
I would. It's a bit weird. I would classify this film as half road trip and half action, because most of the action occurs when driving or fast moving and stuff like that, and that fair enough. That is how in this world that clearly would work, but then the rest of it is them having to deal with the pitfalls of this road trip.
Yeah. And to me, it always seemed like the action was always serving the plot.
Yeah.
Like, there was never just any gratuitous action for no reason. It always had a bearing on the story.
Yeah. Well, any time that the action happening, it was generally because a faction has caught up with them and they're now having to deal with this new set of circumstances. Or the point where they're stuck in the bog and there's only one guy that can go after them, and he had a different set of skills and stuff that they've now got to deal with. So it was very well done, and I never felt that they just threw action in just for the hell of it. Cause
no. And and to realize this came from somebody in that's like in his 70s.
Yeah.
And that it's a little concerning that he has these warped things going on in his head, but...
Well, we're entertained. We can give that a pass.
Yeah,
I
I mean, every bit of this world was just so enriching, and like it all felt like it had a basis in reality, as crazy as it was.
No, yeah.
Like, the end of the movie, I was slightly concerned because I'm like, this is probably where we're headed as a society. This felt a little too close to home.
Yeah.
It's going to be about bullets and women and gas and water. Those are going to be the commodities, and we're all going to kill each other over them.
Yeah, I guess the only gripe you could possibly have is that, let's say this is far enough in the future that we've done this as a planet. We'll have run out of petrol ages ago. There won't be any gas.
Well, assuming that the population has been significantly reduced, there might be a large amount of petrol.
Okay, true. If something happens in the next 5 years, then yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
If you reduce the population by 90%, there's no more gas shortage. You know?
Yeah.
Then you have Gas Town.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that would be what, Texas?
I don't know where this is supposed to... It's a good question. Where is this supposed to take place?
I'm sure that it's set in Australia because there's not that many other places with vast expanses of desert. I mean, granted, it's a nuclear apocalypse. Anything could have been turned into desert at that point.
We don't know much, and I'm fine not knowing.
Yeah. But I just took as read it was Australia just because I know that the original Mad Maxes were set in Australia because it was in Australia. So,
which begs the question: is it a continental disaster or a worldwide disaster?
Indeed. And again, I'm actually fine on that.
Exactly. Because they're a little isolated there, being an island. But
all right, now
maybe we'll find out in the second one.
Yes,
Fingers crossed.
I'm fairly certain they've said they're making another one.
Yeah, they have to.
Now, all of these characters in the film, and you keep running into this person followed by this person, and then introduced to this person. Did you feel that, I'm going to say, with the possible exception of some of the wives, that the characters were like just, oh, this person's kind of like this, but this. I think every single character you were introduced to was really well fleshed out as their own personality.
I would agree, and I would even say that I'm calling them the supermodels because they're all supermodels, pretty much. I would even say those are fleshed out more than what we're used to seeing those roles be.
True.
Those roles are typically, I'm a damsel in distress. My dialogue has helped me or saved me or get me out of here.
Yeah.
Where they actually had motivations. The one just wanted to go back to how life was, in the Citadel. So I thought they were interesting characters.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that they were by any means 2D cut and paste people. I just felt that there were 5 of them. One of them was pregnant. Mm-hmm. And then, spoiler, about a third of the way through the film, that person dies. Mm-hmm. And then the other 4 were kind of interchangeable to me. I mean, obviously one of them was kind of almost pathetic. And like just saying these weird things, and that was kind of her character trait. And then there was the one that was like, "Oh, I want to go back," and that was her real character trait. And then the other 2 were just kind. I think they got one of the other 2 to be friends with the old woman, so that you could distinguish her from the other one. Like that. That was my only point where I didn't fully see a character on screen, but the story of the film and their backstory and the amount that they're actually involved in everything made me push past that, because they aren't, as you say, people just sitting back like, oh, save me, someone else go do all this stuff for me.
No, they all have active roles. Like when they, much like Max and Furiosa's kind of relationship, they all have just kind of this unspoken roles to play. Like there's never a discussion of, okay, we're all on the same team. It's just, okay, at this moment we have to escape this, and so you do that, or I'm going to do this. So just people take it upon themselves to do what needs to be done, and even those girls, were helping out and just
Yeah,
they were all active in their own escape.
Yeah, and they had, towards the end, two of them were up on top of the tanker doing stuff. One of them was in charge of the guns and stuff. So, yeah, they all had their various roles and actually did stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was fine with that. It was great to see.
I feel like a lesser director would have just outsourced that to the main characters.
Yeah.
Max and Furiosa do this, and like I said, everyone was involved.
Yeah.
The old women, the biker women, everybody.
Yeah, and which is great because as you do stop and think about it, that is what would have to happen in that world, in that situation, is that you couldn't have someone just sitting back like, oh, save me, oh no.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That was kind of the point, like, those older women, I can totally believe them being crack shots because you don't get to survive to that age in this world without being that, without knowing how to use a gun and survive, because that is your main objective in this world. Survive as long as you can.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I just wanted to talk, like, how awesome this movie is for women. I think it's extremely empowering, and I know I've gone off about it in other podcasts how there are like no really good roles for women. Charlize, I think we might have an audio clip you could hear in this at some point. That she is an amazing action star now. like I said, I think this is her story. This chapter in Mad Max is this is Mad Max Fury Road. This is Furiosa's journey, and Max is there, I think, kind of like to help us see that journey, and even kind of more as a supporting character. Yeah, I think. As amazing as Tom Hardy is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm thinking about it. Did they explain what Fury Road technically was? Did they say it in the film at all? I don't think they do.
I don't know. I just kind of assumed it was the name of that main road, or
maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. It just maybe it's just an idea. I don't care. Yeah. It's not going to keep me up at night.
Because obviously you could shorten Furiosa to Fury if you were really going for it, and then you could say, so it's her road. Which, that is this film, basically. So, yeah, I fully agree that this film is Furiosa, and then Max is along for the ride, and helping out, obviously, and here and there being... And I had to say that I love that he went off, like, what was it, halfway through the film, a little after halfway through the film. They're stuck up on that dune, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go back down here. I'm going to deal with these guys. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not back in, blah, 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 go. Like, the standard trope. If I'm not back in an hour, then don't leave without me. And you see him go off, and the camera doesn't follow him. And the camera stays with these people, so I was fairly certain he wasn't going to die. But, but you have no idea in what condition he's going to come back in, and you have no idea what happened. I like that. I really like that. They had these moments where it's like, I have no idea what just happened, and I'm never going to find out.
Well, that was kind of his Indiana Jones moment of the guy... waving the sword all around, and then he just shoots you. Yeah. He just walks out with, like, ammo and just some blood on his face, and that doesn't, like, Furious or something say, oh, that's not his blood.
Yeah, so someone's really worried about him, and she just goes, that's
not his blood. Yeah, he just walks out of the dust and just, like, hero moment. Yeah.
And I think one of my favourite little things where it just shows, like, how much he rolls with it is at that point, like, he comes back to the tanker and he just starts pouring his thing so he can wash his face, and he goes, what is this? And one of them said, mother's milk, and he just goes, and just washes his face with it. It was like, if you try and think about it too much, you probably wouldn't want to then wash your face with it, but he's just like, whatever, okay.
I don't care, it's wet,
Now, the one character we've mentioned but haven't said at all, Nux. Mr. Nicholas Hoult, who, for those of you who aren't sure where you've heard that name before, he was Beast in the newer X-Men films where it's First Class and Days of Future Past. And he was also the zombie in Warm Bodies.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And both of those, quite different characters, and then this one.
Definitely his most fleshed out character.
For me, this kind of character took this film from being a really good film to like, I love this film.
Yeah, his journey was quite incredible.
Yeah, and again, there's this thing that you saw early on where these people freeze their mouths or something, and then it's like that's going to be their suicide run, and he gets that twice, right, in this film, and they don't exactly explain what it is. And again,
see, that's another thing. I love that they don't explain that.
Yeah.
I think that's just, to me, that was part of Immortan or Apocalypse Joe, whatever you want to call him. They're interchangeable names. It doesn't matter. The bad guy. I think that was just part of his. Clearly, he has like a religion in place.
Oh yeah,
which I won't go into too much about my feelings there as religion as a form of control. But that's clearly what he's doing, and I think that's part of that where you spray paint the mouth, and then you're going to go to Valhalla, the halls of Valhalla.
I was going to say that he seemed to be like combining a couple of different religions,
prayer or tribute, there at the end, and. Yeah, I just love that it wasn't explained. Like, okay, they spray paint their mouths chrome, and
I mean, I'm sure if you actually listen to everything everyone is saying, it will be like, well, there's actually a slight poison in it or something, and the idea.
I don't even know if it needs to be that thought out.
No, I'm perfectly fine with it just being at face value. Like, okay, spray and done. But yeah, this guy. His character definitely had the biggest arc in the entire film.
As far as, changing, Mm-hmm.
Coming to realize exactly what he was fighting for was, and that's not what he wants to really happen anymore. Like that. It was a wonderful...
Well, yeah, because any other time that character is going to be a one-dimensional henchman, or what, and that's all they're going to be. The whole movie. Going to be trying to kill Max, or even if you think he's helping Max, he's still going to kill him or turn him back over to Joe at some point.
Yeah.
But that's not what happens. I just thought it was wonderful how that was handled.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where he is, I'm riding the Fury, blah, blah, blah. And then he ends up being left with Max with the convoy, having no idea what's going on. He's then left behind. He gets back to the guy, and he's like, "No, take me with you. I can do this again." You get back with Max, and then even when he gets back with him that time, you realize that maybe he's already thought more about this than it seemed like he has, and then he really gets close to one of the princesses, as I'm just going to call them, because they're basically princesses.
Princess Peach 1 through 5.
Yeah, there you go.
Or Toadstool, depending on your age.
Yes. And it was lovely to see that, although I will say at the very end, and as we said, there will be spoilers in it, at the very end, he is driving the big vehicle that he then upends to block anyone else from getting through, to cause big crash and all that. I am 99% certain that he would have survived that.
That he would have?
That he would have. Because all that happened, if you watch, he's in the truck, he's sitting in the seat, he turns it, and the truck goes from standing to 90 degrees, and then just skids. I don't think he would have died in that. Obviously, he doesn't come back at the end.
By the logic set up in the movie, if the dust storm scene where the vehicle's thrown like 3 football fields and tumbled over and covered in sand, and then he survived that.
Yeah.
You think he survived the other?
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah. I mean, maybe something we didn't see on screen is there's then an explosion or something. Which,
I don't know, yes. Yeah,
which there should have been, really, since isn't there supposed to be a shitload of petrol in that thing?
Well,
I know that they were going to get some.
That wasn't what it was more about collapsing that pass.
Yeah.
But, yes, I was okay with that. I was okay with everything.
This is one of those times where I noticed it and I just kind of made a mental note of it, but it didn't ruin the film at all.
Didn't detract from your enjoyment.
No. This film was from beginning to end, I think the most enjoyable action... Now, I am putting Pacific Rim as a sci-fi film over action for this.
Okay.
But from beginning to end, the most enjoyable just action film.
Yeah, I was trying to think if there was a scene that I would take out, or because it was certainly a long film for an action movie.
I think it was pretty much just 2 hours with credits. But
yeah. But I can't think of one scene I wouldn't want in there.
No, and the only scene the only bits I can see getting rid of is the bits when they're in the bog and there's no one chasing them at this point. Mm-hmm. They're just slowly going through the bog. Like,
see, I wanted to see more of that world.
No, exactly. That was interesting. I'm just saying that the only reason I would take that out is because you see these people on stilts.
Yes, I was just...
and then... Never again. Like,
there has to be some deleted scenes of that world.
Yeah, but it's like, since you're not going to bring these guys back,
but it was
don't introduce them. I want to know more.
But it goes back to what I said earlier about this movie just feeling authentic. And clearly, every part of this world they've adapted to their surroundings, or evolved, and just the arms and legs on stilts, just so they're not in the muck and the mud and the swamp.
Although if you think about that, like, how difficult would it be to take one thing all the way out the road like that? That would suck.
Oh, and the scoliosis for those people must be through the roof. But I don't know, bad backs galore. Yeah. But it was like not even like a 12 seconds or something. You see that world, and then they move on.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to. Hey, this ride's going to keep moving. Keep up with us.
Well, now you just said that just reminded me. It's like, oh well, it's probably why they didn't get Mel Gibson to be Mad Max, because then it would be Mad Max's Bad Back. That would have been his film. Thank you, Ball. Thank you.
All right. Sorry if you're still listening.
Yes.
If you haven't chucked your iPhone out a window.
Yeah. All right. What else do you got over there?
What else have I got? The stunts. I mean, we have to talk about the stunts.
Yes, we do.
90. I would say, I don't know, put a percentage on it. 95%, I would guess, are done practically. I would say, not counting like explosions, adding to the effects. Of course, you have to heighten that.
And then, of course, the CG.
But those were real cars that he really blew up, that he really flipped, really destroyed.
Yeah. I think that everything short of, as I just said, like the dust tornado where people get sucked up into it, that's clearly you can't actually do that. So if we take that out of the running as done, I would say that all of the stunts were probably practical. It's just, as you said, they probably added to it.
I mean, hats off to the stunt crew of this film, because it looks just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And just like the one chase scene, I mean, there's so many. Well, but
the one that he's talking about right now.
Yes, the one I'm talking about, with the guys on the poles that are bending back and forth and jumping onto the truck. I mean, it was like, you've never seen anything like that.
No.
And it just, like I said, once again, not explained. That's just how they're operating in this world, and it makes sense. And they have their little explosive spears that they're... it's just awesome.
The thing that I loved as well, with the guys going back and forth on those poles, is, to start with, they're kind of going, whoa, and then throwing a grenade or something, and there's an explosion. And then you see them use them to get the people in the car out. And you don't even think, when you first see them, that that's what that might even be used for. So it was a fun thing of like, oh, okay, so this is so they can get in, plant, get out. And it's like, no, this is also so they can get in, snatch, and get out. Which I thought was a really fun thing that I didn't see them.
I mean, clearly that's adapted from a thought of having to pursue people, having to overtake vehicles in this world. Like, that, those aren't needed. It's not like they thought of that, we have to catch Max, let's think of something.
Yeah.
No, that's something that clearly already existed. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun just to sit back, watch, and see all of the different things that would come up.
There was always something. Anytime, like, a new character would pop up, and you'd be like, what the hell? Normally you would think that, but you just accept it. Point in case, rockstar guy on the back.
Yes.
That would be the point in the film where I would normally say, F you. Alright, this movie's bullshit. You want me to accept this?
Yeah, if it wasn't Mad Max and a guy was being driven around, standing in front of what looked like about 15 amps, playing a guitar with a flamethrower.
With flames shooting out, like hoisted on chains, like so he doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like clearly these insane people want rock music while they're gonna go kill some people.
And I will give that guy props for apparently never stopping playing. At no point is he not playing, with the exception of when Max gets to him. And so they had to fight. At all other times, he is playing that guitar.
Amazing, yeah. Like I said, if you had told me that's in this film, I'd be like, "Oh, come on!" But watching it, it just felt right.
That's the thing. If someone before the film had said to me, "By the way, there will be a guy on top of a car playing a guitar with a flamethrower out of it," I would say, "Are you sure you're not thinking of Rammstein right now?" Because they do that in concerts. Like, no, he's on the car, they're driving, and he's just playing a guitar. I go,
like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Sure. And then you watch the film and it's like, this is the greatest character ever!
Yes, please. More of him. I want to know his story. But yeah, like, anytime, like, or like the brother, I guess, was it Brothers of Joe? Like the little guy with the looking through the telescopes and the spyglass. Like,
I have no idea what his relation was to him, but he clearly was related somehow.
Yeah, they're second in command or something. But I mean, what a fascinating character that you like know nothing about, pretty much.
Yeah, he's just this little guy who doesn't seem to have too much of an issue to the fact that his commander, brother, whatever, is dead at the end of the film. But hey, whatever. Yeah, you adapt.
And then you have like the lieutenant guy or whoever with the metal nose and the giant foot.
Yeah,
and like
giant foot.
Like, once again, George Miller, I hope you're seeing someone to talk about these things, but you got a good shrink. But I'm enjoying the visuals of your...
I like the idea that this is a nuclear wasteland. And
I just think
like,
that's...
100 years after that, you're going to have something...
Well, I think that's just like just showing the lack of medical care in the world. Like, you're going to have these odd diseases and features when you're not able to just treat simple infections.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I do wonder if we were able to jump back like 200 years, would we see more people like that anyway, because they didn't have the medicine we do now? So, like, maybe this actually was fairly common, and then obviously people would put them either in asylums or they would do stuff to them and blah, blah, blah. So, but, you know, maybe this is like, okay, we've gone back to that now, and you've got all of these things. But yeah, just, we keep saying it, but it's such a fleshed out world that we know bugger all about. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I did want to say to anyone listening out there, I was able to pick up on a couple, but if you know of Easter eggs for any of the Mad Max trilogy thrown in here, I don't even know. I won't even mention the ones I caught, just because I do feel like that is across the line, spoiler wise. But just for I mean, because you should see the other films. I would see them if you haven't seen the originals. Paul, I wouldn't even bother now.
Yep.
Definitely, the order is Mel Gibson, Mad Max, and then Tom Hardy, Mad Max. You can't go backwards.
I was gonna say at the beginning that, you know, this film made me interested in seeing the originals. I wouldn't have expected them to be as good as this film, just because. But yeah, based on your description, I think just before we started recording and just now, like, maybe I won't.
I don't know. I mean, you're really going to have to lower your expectations if you're able to do that. I mean, Road Warrior is still an amazing movie.
Maybe I'll just jump into that.
Yeah, I think you should. And then Beyond Thunderdome gets beyond ridiculous. I mean, 1987. It's very 1987. Tina Turner, big silver costume. Yeah, it gets a little crazy.
Fair enough.
Spin the wheel, spin the wheel. Yeah.
Right, well,
maybe
I'll just
a couple
watch
Easter eggs to
I'll watch 2 and 3,
to Road Warrior. I wasn't really aware of any to Thunderdome, so if you caught any Thunderdome Easter eggs, let us know. I'd be interested in hearing about that.
All right.
Should we talk about the... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, did you want me to briefly talk about the responses we got on Twitter, or do you want to finish off your list first?
I would like to discuss the ending, if we could.
All right, let's go.
So you think where this movie's going is, okay, Charlize is trying to get back to the green place where her family is from.
Yep.
Obviously, you realize that was the swamp place.
Yep.
They passed it. So then you're kind of thinking, okay, now what's the plan? So that's kind of the end of the second act there, where Max decides, okay, to come back and help them. Mm-hmm. His redemption story.
Yeah.
As it were, for the people he couldn't save. And, he, tells them, okay, that's just, 160 days of nothing that way. You're just going to die out in the salt. And that was, is that, I guess, supposed to be an ocean then? Is that formally an ocean?
I would imagine, because I can't think of anywhere in the world where you could drive for 160 days and see
an ocean,
nothing,
which is horrifying.
Yeah,
that's now an ocean, or was an ocean. But so then the plan is, okay, we will retake the Citadel. As insane as that sounds. Mm-hmm. So long story short, hey, happy days. They win. They kill Joe. Mm-hmm. And a
very interesting way of killing him as well.
Yeah, but what I loved was there were no huge typical hero action moments for Furiosa or Max. It was all shared. Yeah. Like the people, the slums or whatever, tore Joe apart, and then they have Charlize riding up on the lift, and clearly it's kind of, I think, implied that she'll be in charge of this place now. At least in some capacity. Yeah. But yeah, you had like the breast milk women came out, and that's what I was saying. Back to the Supermodel girls, everyone just had a role. Everyone took part in this victory. Yeah. And they turned on the water. It wasn't Charlize that turned it on. No. It wasn't Max that shouted something to him like, "Hey, we want, seize the day," or something lame that you would normally hear in a typical action movie. Yeah, let's celebrate our victory.
It was a community coming together when they realized that this overlord is gone.
And there's no big scene between Charlize and Max. They don't have to make out like every studio thinks they have to do. Yeah, and it's just a look. He's down in the crowd, and she's up there, and they just look at each other, they make eye contact, and just a little nod, and he kind of just disappears into the crowd. Yeah. It's... Oh, my God. Just that's how you do it.
Yes, please more of this.
Please, respect your audience, like George Miller did here. That we have the intelligence and the capacity to handle those kind of things, that we don't need everything just spelled out and oh, will I see you again, Max? Or it was just beautiful how the ending was handled. I think.
Well, and it was clear from them talking that Max was never going to hang around.
No, there's one bit of dialogue. One of his 8 sentences was, I'm kind of just paraphrasing. I choose my own path, or I go my own way. Something along those lines.
Well, he is. His character is the lone wanderer or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So, it was a wonderful ending to the film, and so in tune with this universe that we were only glimpsing pieces of. And you realize that all of these people were so much under this guy's thumb that the minute they realize he's not around, it's like, fuck it, we're free.
Yeah, you weren't sure for a second, like, oh, wait, was that their leader? Are they pissed now? But then like, oh, wait, yeah, this guy sucked.
Which I think the very first inkling you get of that is when they turn up, and then the guy's like, wait, stop, something's not right. And so he pulls back the sheet, and you see the guy's dead. And then all of the boys up on the top, all of these boys that have been painted and all that, clearly by these people so that they'll become the people that go out and fight and all that. The second they see that, they just take out like shink. They pull the thing, they unlock it, they make everything go down. It's like, okay, these guys are the first to be like, okay, yeah, we're on this side now. It was nice.
Beyond, yeah, absolutely. I can't say enough. Maybe I have. Because
well, how about we get to our ratings, and then
I'll
mention the responses we got on Twitter. So,
I don't know who went first last. Did I not go first last time?
You did, but I think I want to hear your rating on this one.
But you're not changing. You have yours in mind, right?
I have mine in mind.
You will not be influenced?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, what an utter pile of shit this movie was.
I know.
I hated it from beginning to end. If you skip to this part, yeah. Like, what? Yeah, I don't know. I am torn because I'm still in the obviously honeymoon phase with this film.
Yeah.
But I don't see that dwindling a whole lot. I don't see that balancing out too much. So I am going to go with... Well, before I get there, sorry. Brief pause. I just kind of want to... Like I said, I don't know of a weak moment in the film. Like, if I was going to nitpick anything... It would be just like the abuse of water by like Max and the supermodels, but that But once again, suspend the disbelief.
And where was that water coming from anyway? Is there a second tank somewhere?
A hose. It came from a hose.
Of course, yes, the magic hose.
Were you not watching the film?
Yes, my mistake.
Yes, you turn on hoses. That's what comes out of them.
Yes.
Gas or water, one of the two.
Yep.
Just make sure before you start drinking it.
Yes, very much so.
So, but yeah, like I said, there's nothing I would call a weak moment or nothing that didn't work for me. I am going to go just because I don't know if perfection exists, but I'm going minus 0.2.
Ooh, alright. Yep. Yeah, as you can hear there, he clearly hated that film. I don't
never see it again.
I was trying to think about this. I'm generally not a huge action film fan. Like, your Rambos and Predators. Like, I don't mind watching them, but I'm not drawn to them. Whereas this film made me interested in this genre again. I don't know if I'm going to find that many other action films that will come remotely close to it. But still,
up to the standards.
I've already mentioned a couple of the bits for me that I noticed while I was watching, and it was just kind of a type thing. I don't know if there were specific reasons for it. So mine isn't going to be a minus 0.2 like Brian's there, but I will say that, as he said, there's not really much in there that I could criticize aside from the thing for me that I pointed out earlier. So I'm going to say that this film got a minus 0.5.
Your life is spared, sir. Had to go on -1, we might have had issues.
Definitely
over.
Yes, definitely. This film, one of the best made films I've seen in a long time.
And I know we're off to the blockbuster season, but I don't see any movie this summer topping this. I really don't.
No, yeah.
It's all downhill. Sorry, folks.
That is it. All right.
See Mad Max, and then you're done for the summer.
All right. So we have received at least one. I have been promised another, but I do not know that will be the case as of the time I edit this audio clip from people giving their reviews. So I will be inserting them here.
I really liked it. I don't know if I liked it as much as The Road Warrior, just given the nostalgia that it kind of has. The action sequences were ridiculously well done, though, and it was very much more girl power, I guess, than about Max himself, and I thought that was a nice little bit of a twist on it.
And I'm all about the girl power. It was awesome. Charlize Theron's character is amazing the whole time through, and I love this movie. The action was incredible and quite stunning to behold.
For more Machine vs. Warhorse, I'm Shane Connor.
And I'm Emily Mackey. Stay classy.
Hey guys, this is Hyro from the True Bromance Film Podcast, and I just wanted to drop you a quick line to give you my thoughts on Mad Max Fury Road. I think that this is an incredible film, great special effects, great pace, incredible visuals coming from the mind of a 70-year-old gent. Incredible film, one of the best films of the summer. I think a lot is being made of Charlize Theron's role and her acting. And I think that while that is certainly there, I don't think that is the strong suit of this film. This is George Miller's film, George Miller's vision that comes to fruition in a big way. I know that my co-host Barry is a big fan of this film, probably bigger than I am. So the True Bromance Film Podcast endorsed this movie. Thanks for the time, guys, and keep up the good work.
Alright, we received one more just after we recorded, so I'm going to read it out to you here. Max from the Q here, that would be the Q film cast. Mad Max with a brilliant return for the character and Miller. Bravo, a filmmaking that hopefully will make a bit of a comeback and show the current gen how action can be done right. Looking at you, Michael Bay. Beautiful and exhilarating. Seen it twice and will be going again. Support this movie, people. This is what going to the movies was meant to be. What a lovely day. And now, one last audio sent in from Honor Knight.
Hey, this is Honor Knight from Soiled Restrum Cinema. Just how good is Mad Max Fury Road? It's shit your pants good. Director George Miller takes the entire 80s action genre and shoves it directly up your ass, sans lube, for 2 solid hours. It's a colonoscopy of practical effects and stunt work with a minimal amount of CGI and a maximum amount of visual desert splendor from cinematographer John Seal. Tom Hardy embodies Max just as well, if not better, than loony Mel Gibson. Charlize Theron gives us one of the best female action heroes in the last 15 years. While Scarlett Johansson is getting her red wig done for Ultron, Theron is spitting nails and kicking fanboys straight in the nuts with her portrayal of Furiosa. To paraphrase Tommy Lee Jones from Firebirds, this movie's a first-class all-American hero with his heart and brain wired together cooking full-tilt boogie for freedom and justice. Hollywood will not shit out a better action film this year. Do yourself a favor. Stop listening to these two pansies. Nut up, buckle up, and haul ass to your nearest Cineplex so George Miller can give you a cinematic rim job you'll never forget.
Oh, wasn't that nice?
I couldn't agree more. Yes, I agree with everything he said.
Absolutely everything.
Not even joking, absolutely agreed.
Alright, and then I received 2 things on Twitter. I'll do the longer one first, because I think you'll enjoy the shorter one. At The Last Row Pod, which is The Last Row Podcast. Very cool idea for that. Go give those guys a listen. It said, Mad Max Fury Road shows you how powerful a film can be when it just shuts the hell up and lets the action speak for itself. There was not a single element of waste in this picture, from the sparse dialogue to the epic soundtrack to every beautifully shot grain of sand in that desert. This is the prettiest ugly movie I've ever seen. And that was from a guy called Badway at the Last Row Podcast.
And thank you for reading that, because I was very remiss in not mentioning the amazing, powerful score of this film, which heightened the action beyond belief.
And for me as well, just the style of the film, the look of the film. I'm a very visual guy, and this was a beautiful film. So it was,
well put.
Yeah. And then at Storybreakers, they gave me a 7-word review of this film.
Oh, okay.
Batshit crazy and dripping with adrenaline.
I think another wonderful use of an economy of words. Max couldn't have said it better. With your words.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of people just really enjoying this film, probably more than they thought they were going to. And I'm almost interested to see if someone doesn't like it, so I can hear what their reasonings are. I want to know.
So we can identify them and isolate them from society?
Yes.
I don't want you drinking my water, and I don't want you... Yes.
Yes, and I will not be touching your Kool-Aid. You can leave this.
Please.
Alright, well, I think that has to have been it for me.
Yes. Go see this film again,
if
you've already seen it once, which I'm sure.
This is actually one of the few films that I left the cinema, and then a couple of days later I was thinking, I kind of want to see that again. But I don't get that very often.
No, I very rarely want to see a movie again in the theater. And yeah, John Wick I saw 3 times. This I will probably see 3 times in the theater as well.
I may or may not get to see it again. It entirely depends on what my next couple of weekends look like.
But well done, yes. This is how you make an action movie. I think that's what was kind of the whole point of this podcast.
If there is nothing else to take from this episode, from us talking it, someone in Hollywood, please watch this film and just go, can we make more like this?
But not to the point of where you just copycat.
No.
It has to be your own.
Yes. Just appreciate that the audience will go with you.
Exactly.
With these things.
Yeah, and respect their intelligence. They will go along with it. Yes. All right. That's going to do it for us.
All right, so I've been Paul.
I've been Brian.
See ya.